Shalom, family. It's good to see you all here. I hope you're all doing well. I'm absolutely exhausted, and I have to tell you, I did not sleep most of the night. We had to take my son to the hospital. Every time he was swallowing, he kept feeling something sharp in his throat. So we took him up there. A throat specialist saw him this morning and said they're going to put him under. And try to see what's going on with his throat. They said if there's something lodged in there or if there's some kind of growth, they're gonna remove it. So, we still don't know what's going on, but he's up there. I'm gonna have to do some switching around today, um, and, I have to play it by ear at this point. Just to let you know, we may have to do Sabbath Bible study tonight instead of tomorrow, because if he has the surgery, they'll probably keep him a day, and then we'll have to get him tomorrow during the Sabbath. So, I may have to free up that time Saturday. I'm gonna do the Sabbath as close as I possibly can. I do know the Most High make exceptions for illness and things like that. He is merciful. So, I will definitely keep you all posted. So, we're gonna get into some of the recent updates, and I think you're gonna find many of these updates interesting. There's a Hebrew brother that was able to get some information before the cameras were switched off, and he shows something really interesting on his video. He said, "I wanna show you why they switched the cameras off," and I'm not gonna give it all away because I want you to see what he was talking about, and some of it is news clips and some are just people in general. So, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Shalom to everybody in the chat. Great, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. No, I mean, when with my son, all I require of you is your prayers and support. That's it. Thank you. Okay, let me share. Let me go ahead and get this rolling.
Dr. Lowe, do we have the pictures? Here we are almost.
Yeah, stars.
Have you seen
Yeah,
them?
in fact, the only information we get is from the Europeans. There is the European Space Agency that released some data which is inferior to the NASA data, and they are saying that indeed the high-rise camera captured an image of good data on October 2nd. However, the principal investigator of that camera said that he cannot communicate the information to the public because of the government shutdown. Now, that of course raises some concerns that maybe they know something and do not want to let us know about it. And my interpretation is that it's probably not flagging extraterrestrial intelligence. It most likely is the result of terrestrial stupidity.
You're blaming, you think, I don't buy the shutdown excuse. That to me is really suspicious 8 days later that NASA hasn't released these photos. It's not like nobody is at NASA right now is able to do this.
Here's what no one's saying. Something is following 3I Atlas. Sensors detected a faint second object moving right beside it. Now here's where it gets strange. The new thermal data from the observatory shows a 5 sigma detection, meaning almost certain. While the main body of 3I Atlas is freezing at about 35 Kelvin, the smaller companion glows at a steady 120 Kelvin. Natural objects always have a hot side and a cold side. This one doesn't. My next videos could completely change how you see this object. including shocking truths about why the world's best telescopes still can't capture a clear photo and who made that decision. Follow and turn on notifications now. You'll want to see it before it disappears.
The European Space Agency might have just showed us something they weren't supposed to, since the US government conveniently shut down just days before the Mars flyby of 3I Atlas and told us they're not going to give us updates on it anymore. The good old ESA released this video just a few days after it flew by Mars, using their ExoMars trace gas orbiter. And just watch what happens when we zoom it in. No video enhancements applied whatsoever. Is anyone else seeing what I'm seeing? Surely this is just a photography lighting glitch, right? And like, where is China in all this? They do have an active orbiter around Mars, the Tianwen-1. Wouldn't this be just like the best opportunity for them to flex on us, showing us the clearest photos of 3I Atlas yet? But no, radio silence from the CNSA, China's National Space Administration. So they either somehow didn't take the photo on time, or they did, saw what it was, and didn't want to show anyone else. And still other online detectives pulled this image from NASA's official Mars Perseverance rover's online public library, dated Seoul 1643, October 4th, 2025, the exact time that 3I Atlas flew by. NASA, of course, hasn't commented on this yet, and some are saying it might just be Mars's moon Phobos caught in motion, which ironically is Greek for fear.
A few days ago, on October 3rd, it passed near Mars within 29 million kilometers, and this camera was able to detect it. And what we see is a ball of light with a slight extension. It doesn't look like a typical comet where you see a beautiful tail of dust stretching away from the direction of the sun. And there will be much better data. The best is yet to come from the high-rise camera on board NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. The data was taken, but because of the government shutdown, we haven't seen it. That particular camera is 0.5 meter in diameter and can give us 30-kilometer resolution of 3I Atlas, this new interstellar object. And that could potentially tell us how big it is, because the amount of sunlight that is reflected from it will set the brightest pixel in the image that we get from NASA. So everyone is eagerly awaiting that, because it will be the best, the highest resolution image we have. And you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Catch the latest on this story at Fox 32 on Fox Local.
China just broke ranks with NASA and issued an official warning about 3I/ATLAS. And what they revealed about this mysterious object has completely shattered the narrative NASA's been feeding us for months. This wasn't a diplomatic statement or scientific debate. China's space program just publicly declared that Atlas is exhibiting capabilities NASA keeps denying exist. They released tracking data showing impossible maneuvers. They shared observations of technology that shouldn't be there. And they warned the world to prepare for something NASA insists won't happen. But here's what makes this absolutely explosive. Within hours, Russia backed China's warning, then India, then Japan. One by one, space agencies across the globe started supporting China's assessment, while NASA maintains complete radio silence. Either the entire international space community is participating in mass delusion about Atlas's capabilities, or NASA has been lying to us. And based on what China just revealed, it's becoming very clear which scenario is true. Before we expose what China discovered that NASA won't acknowledge, hit that subscribe button and drop a like, because what you're about to learn about Atlas changes everything. The geopolitical space race just revealed something both superpowers have been tracking. The difference? China decided the world deserves to know. NASA decided we should stay in the dark. Let's get straight to what China observed about Atlas, because their findings are absolutely mind-blowing and completely contradict everything NASA has told us. China's deep space tracking network captured Atlas performing maneuvers that should be physically impossible for a natural object. Over a 48-hour observation period, Atlas decelerated by 5,000 miles per hour, held a stable position in space for 6 hours, then accelerated back to its original velocity. Think about what that means. Comets don't hit the brakes, asteroids don't pause mid-flight. Natural space objects follow predictable paths determined by gravity and momentum. Atlas is actively controlling its movement like a spacecraft navigating through our solar system. A propulsion expert analyzing China's data made it simple. What they documented is powered flight. No question about it. The acceleration profiles, the velocity changes, the ability to maintain station keeping, all of this requires engines. Advanced engines using technology we can barely comprehend. But the propulsion capabilities are just the beginning. China's radio telescope arrays detected something even more extraordinary about Atlas. It's broadcasting complex signals that show unmistakable signs of intelligent design. The transmissions aren't random electromagnetic noise. They're structured, organized, and using modulation techniques that require sophisticated technology. China detected frequency hopping, where signals rapidly switch between different frequencies to avoid interference or detection. That's a military communication technique. Natural phenomena don't do that. The signals also contain what appears to be error correction codes, mathematical structures designed to ensure data integrity when transmitting through noisy space. Again, that's advanced technology, not natural radio emissions. One radio astronomer who reviewed China's signal analysis described it as shocking. These transmissions show engineering principles. Someone or something designed a communication system, built it, and is actively using it. Atlas isn't just an object drifting through space, it's a platform transmitting information with clear purpose. China's space-based telescopes also captured high-resolution images of Atlas that reveal surface features NASA's images somehow never showed clearly. The Chinese imagery shows geometric patterns on Atlas's surface, straight lines, right angles, symmetrical arrangements that look strikingly artificial. Natural space objects are chaotic. Asteroids and comets have irregular, random surface features formed by collisions, thermal stress.
I don't want to have to always be the guy who says, I told you so, but I told you so. 3I Atlas is not a comet. 3I Atlas is not a meteorite. 3I Atlas is not an asteroid. 3I Atlas is not just some rock floating through space. 3I Atlas is 100% a spaceship, a mothership, an interdimensional object, spacecraft, whatever you want to call it. That is what it is. And the proof is in the pudding, and there is nothing anyone can say to prove that it is a comet. Because first of all of its characteristics are nothing like a comet, meteorite, or asteroid. It actually has an emission coming from the front. It's now, and wait for this, now that it's by Mars, it's just parked there. It stopped moving. It's just there. And if you haven't seen the photos, I'll take a look of what was captured on the telescope and then the AI 3D rendering of what it potentially might look like.
3I Atlas passed Mars yesterday, exactly when an ancient Sumerian map said it would. At 4 a.m. UTC, 3I Atlas made its closest approach to any planet so far in our solar system, 18 million miles from Mars. Multiple space agencies, including NASA and the European Space Agency, are coordinating observations using various spacecraft and orbiters around Mars. They want to know where it's going next and if its course has changed further. 3,000 years ago, the Sumerians carved a star chart showing a dark object from Sagittarius brushing past Mars and turning inward. Many experts agree that the ancient map is a signal left by the gods, so humans would know when to look up and when to expect the gods' return. Yesterday, that same map was at the forefront of every astrological conversation around the world. Not only did the Sumerians perfectly chart the skies, but they did so knowing where the planets and stars would align today. How is this possible?
CERN, they've used their collider to open up a portal to communicate with extraterrestrial beings.
Well,
And one of them are the occupants from 3I Atlas.
to be clear, CERN already has a room and a technology to open a portal to talk to extraterrestrials.
Yes.
But recently, they also used it to communicate with the beings on 3I Atlas.
That's correct.
Okay, go on.
So those beings introduce themselves as such, like so we are the occupants of this object, and they did not show up physically. They show up as holograms. Now, they apparently showed up as holograms. They look tall. That's what she said. And they communicated telepathically with every single scientist in the room.
Wow.
And they all got the same message, which is that they are coming in peace and are just trying to come over here to gather all the star seeds of this planet.
So when you remote viewed, did you pick up on that intention as well?
Yes and no. I believe that the direct reptilians, will be coming to Earth, but as to know what the exact intents, that I couldn't really say.
Well, this is an extraordinary development.
It is.
You remote viewed 3i Atlas. Did you do that on your own, or were you tasked with this?
I was tasked by the same intelligence people I'm working with to look at the object because those had concerns. But what I saw as a remote viewer was a mothership with occupants on board, and they were mostly direct reptilian occupants.
Okay.
That's what, I saw as a remote viewer.
Well, that was corroborated by other remote viewers seeing the same thing.
That's correct. Yeah,
The ship and Draco.
that's correct. One of them is John Vivanco, who is also a known remote viewer, and he announced it publicly as well. And other people from the Stargate program as well. So they basically all came up with the same idea.
Is CERN summoned 3i Atlas to this Earth, and is there going to be a rapture, but not like people think? I'm going to show y'all a video that I just got done watching, and then after we'll talk about it.
CERN, they've used their collider to open up a portal to communicate with extraterrestrial beings.
Whoa.
And one of them are the occupants from 3i Atlas.
To be clear, CERN already has a room and a technology to open a portal to talk to extraterrestrials.
Yes.
But recently, they also used it to communicate with the beings on 3i Atlas.
That's correct.
Okay, go on.
So those beings introduce themselves as such, like so we are the occupants of this object, and they did not show up physically. They show up as holograms. Now, they apparently showed up as holograms. They look tall. That's what she said. And they communicated telepathically with every single scientist in the room.
Wow.
And they all got the same message, which is that they are coming in peace and are just trying to come over here to gather all the star seeds of this planet.
So when you remote viewed, did you pick up on that intention as well?
Yes and no. I believe that the direct reptilians, will be coming to Earth, but as to know what the exact intents, that I couldn't really say.
Well, this is an extraordinary development.
It is.
You remote viewed 3i Atlas. Did you do that on your own, or were you tasked with this?
I was tasked by the same intelligence people I'm working with to look at the object because those had concerns. But what I saw as a remote viewer was a mothership with occupants on board, and they were mostly direct reptilian occupants.
Okay.
That's what, I saw as a remote viewer.
And that was corroborated by other remote viewers seeing the same thing.
That's correct. Yeah.
The ship and Draco.
That's correct. One of them is John Vivanco, who is also a known remote viewer, and he announced it publicly as well. And other people from the Stargate program as well. So they basically all came up with the same idea.
Before I go any further, this is all speculation and for entertainment purposes only. First thing I think I need to say is they might come in peace, but they are not good. Secondly, if you're believing in a pre-tribulation rapture, you might want to stop. Because if you're believing in this lie of a pre-tribulation rapture and they come to get these star seeds, they knows it's a lie from him and he's ultimately tricking you into getting taken by whatever these things are. Just saying, it's dangerous to go against the word of God, and the pre-tribulation rapture is a nowhere in it. And he said he saw Draco, reptilians on board. Those are not good. Those are not good in any way, shape, or form. They're either fallen angels, they're demons, or they're an entity of Satan of some kind. Not one time in the Bible did I ever read of a good reptilian creature. Would personally stop believing in a fake pre-tribulation rapture belief ASAP. Also, something's telling me this might be what's bringing the Antichrist. This is why Trump was in such a hurry to make this peace deal, because he knows they're coming. I don't know what's going to happen or exactly how it's going to happen, but we need to be ready for anything and everything. Because God is telling me that there is a mass deception coming to this earth like we've never seen before. I'm throwing some pretty crazy stuff at y'all sometimes, but we don't really know what's going to happen. We don't really know how they're going to come. That's why I'm doing this. I want y'all to be prepared. We don't know the supernatural. We don't know what's really going on in this world other than God and Jesus, but there is other things. We're taught this. We're taught there's fallen angels. We're taught there's Nephilim, the offspring of the fallen angels. We're taught there's demons. There's other things out here. I just want y'all to be prepared for anything because we really don't know how they're going to come, but we do know that they're not Jesus Christ.
This video is going to be about 3i Atlas. Now, if you believe 3i Atlas is a comet and just a comet, you're going to want to keep scrolling. Now, if you believe 3i Atlas is a comet, but you're open-minded, you can stay and hang out. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and switch out my glasses because I think I need my sparkle glasses for this one. So I just watched an interview discussing 3i Atlas. And it might be a little out there for you guys, but nonetheless, it is very interesting. And if it were to actually happen, well, I don't know. Okay. So I was watching an interview on Cosmic Discussion or Cosmic Disclosure, something like that. And Sebastian Martin was on there. Now, if you don't know who Sebastian Martin is, he is a remote viewer. If you don't know what a remote viewer is, it is someone that can like go into like a trance state and see locations and stuff like that. The government's been doing it for a long time. It's in declassified CIA files. It's real. Now, Sebastian Martin, did he actually, I don't know, but he claims to be a remote viewer. Sebastian Martin was tasked with the job to remote view 3i Atlas. And guys, this is what he said he had seen. Now, mind you, he was not the only one tasked with this to see 3i Atlas. There was a few of them, and all of them saw the same thing. So what he saw were beings in this, like millions of them. But they were in like cylindrical tubes, suspended in animation. And you know what kind of beings they were? Like Dracos, Draco reptilians. And he said that CERN's Large Hadron Collider, that they are using it for a portal. And that one of the beings from 3i Atlas showed up holographically and talked to them and told them what their intentions were. They said that their intention is to come to Earth for the star seeds. Now, if you don't know what a star seed is, my previous video goes into how a scientist from Moscow, Russia, just said that we have alien DNA, which makes us hybrid aliens. Now, it's not peer review, but check out that video, you know, if you want to know more about that. So anyways, they stated that they were coming to Earth for the star seeds. Now, the interviewer was like, can you elaborate more on this? And he's like, well, I can't really. And he didn't really go into if there was negative or positive, but he did say it seemed like the governments had a handle on it and that they have already sent ships and probes from here out there. And what's supposed to happen is that when 3i Atlas wraps around, okay, it's supposed to go past the sun, around, and come back into our solar system. And it's not going to come right by Earth, like super, super close. But what it's going to do when it gets to the closest spot in December, I think it's December 19th, it's going to release probes. And there's going to be, I guess, like little, I guess, scout ships or whatnot with these Draco reptilians. And it will head to Earth. And we are going to see ships all in our sky. So this is like December 19th, 20th, like right around Christmas time, I guess. Guys, I don't know if this is legit. I don't know. Maybe he believes it's legit. Maybe it is legit. Maybe he's working for the government. I don't know. But all I know is that it's interesting. And it adds a little flavor to the day of the week. Because it makes you think, like, what if? Because you know we're all going to be lurking around on December 19th and look into the sky like, could that be real? And then when it doesn't happen, we'll be like, see, it was just another person just spreading poo-poo, you know? But guys, it adds a little spice, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? And if they're coming for the star seeds, which star seeds? Interesting.
Okay, things are hotting up regarding interstellar object 3I Atlas. The first images have been released by ESA, the European Space Agency, and you can see light being emitted from this object. It seems to be, making its own light and emitting it, which is like, whoa, that's weird. And if you zoom in on it, it looks like there's kind of 3 or 4 kind of portal things on it. It's really, really weird. But I would say that I've spoken to Avi Loeb about this, professor at Harvard University, and he says we must wait for better images, better data from NASA. However, NASA won't release images at the moment because of the US government shutdown. It's all about politics as usual. So he's not very happy, still waiting for those images because they will provide better detail. And the Chinese, have we heard from them yet? No. Why? Are they covering something up? I don't think so. I think if they found something, they would want to be the ones to announce it to the world. 3i Atlas, let me know what you think it is. Bye.
We did get one report that as 3i Atlas gets closer now to the sun, telescopes here on Earth are picking up other objects flying alongside it. Is that accurate?
Well, there are always objects. The question is whether we see unusual activity. And in fact, I tasked my research team at the Galileo project to monitor the sky for any unusual activity, because it's possible that if it's a alien probe, that in fact it would release some mini probes that will visit the planets.
Yeah.
You know, we should not assume anything. It's a blind date, and we should watch the other side, you know, just in case there is a serial killer.
Okay. There was another one I wanted to show you. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on. Hold on. Give me one moment. Do I still have that one? If I don't, I can always show you at another time. Hmm. All right. It might have been because there was music on there. That could have been the reason why. Because unfortunately, a lot of people do that. They'll just see this one. No, that's not it. All right. Well, anyway, as you see, there's a bunch of people with different theories, but as far as them talking to Gentiles, see, that's where I don't believe it. I don't believe that, because anything of the Most High coming here is not going to stop and talk to Gentiles in any kind of way. So that part I don't believe. And, these folks, you got to understand, don't like anything with melanin. So if they were dark, that's probably why they're calling them reptilian. So I don't fully believe they're having these conversations with them. I'm just not buying it. That part I'm not buying. Why would they talk to the bases of all men? I'm just saying, y'all. I mean, if I was out there in the universe, the last thing I would want to do is talk to the bases of all men. I mean, seriously. So that part I'm not fully believing. So anyway, we will find out in the next 2 weeks. It should be going behind the sun. And we will see what happens from that point on. So, from what I understand, it did make it to Mars. And as you heard, there was some people saying it just parked, it just stopped flying once it got to Mars. Now, what it's doing while it's there, nobody knows. And This government don't want us to see this thing. They desperately don't want us to see any trace of this thing coming. And they're doing everything they can. And, now that being said, I really believe that is the whole premise of the government shutdown. It's not the reasons that they told us at all. Democrats and Republicans have never gotten along. That's nothing new. Okay? It's just too suspicious that the government shut down exactly 1 week before this thing reached Mars. I don't think that's a coincidence, and I really think that's the whole reason why the government shut down. And the reasons that we're being told is just a load of BS. They just had to come up with a good reason to justify shutting everything down. And the government shut down. Well, if the budget office don't fund you, then you're going to shut everything down. So y'all just stay prayed up. Whatever's coming is not coming to harm us, you know? So stay prayed up, stayed connected with our Heavenly Father, the Most High, and we'll all get through this. We will. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude. So I thank you all for being here, and I'm going to have to play it by ear as far as more live streams. And like I said, if push comes to shove, if I find out we'll be picking my son up on Saturday, then I will do the Bible study tonight. So hopefully enough people will see the live stream because I won't know what time they're going to release him Saturday. So I want to kind of free up that time for us to go out and pick him up and bring him home if that is the case. So everybody, please have a blessed day and please pray for my son and pray for a full recovery. Shalom, family.